So we are a couple of weeks out now from the presidential election, and Donald Trump is your new president-elect. And if you're wondering why this topic is coming up on this channel, if you have watched this channel before, you understand that with a name like Pop Culture Crisis, the focus isn't inherently politics, though it does seem more and more often that those things seem to coincide more than they ever have in the past, especially with the advent of social media and with celebrities being increasingly focused on political issues. Seemingly, it feels sometimes like they just have nothing else to do. They don't have movies to go film. They don't have records to go record, but they certainly do have the time to go and rally for political candidates, which of course pisses off the average everyday person because most people, like it or not, they don't want to know what their entertainers think about politics. They want to watch their entertainers entertain them. But what we've learned from this election cycle, probably more than anything else, is that the age of the celebrity endorsement seems to have come and passed. It is a figment of our imagination to believe that it is as influential as it used to be. And certainly I have to eat some crow on this, because what I found after this election was that I really did believe, I honestly did believe that Kamala Harris was going to win. And I attributed a lot of that to the internet and to the buzz that was created seemingly artificially around the promotion of these celebrities and the promotion of these celebrities, pushing for the Kamala Harris campaign. But we have a new article here from Breitbart that says, this is an exclusive from Breitbart. It says, poll proves wide majority of Americans reject celebrity endorsements. Now, a lot of people would say that that's common sense, and certainly if you go into the comment section of any video talking about what a celebrity thinks on politics, you will get endless comments saying that. But look, they worked very hard. They worked overtime. Twitter accounts like Kamala HQ, things like that, the Harris campaign and stuff like that, worked to promote the idea that all of these celebrities, the Oprahs, the Beyoncés, the Taylor Swifts, the Charlie XCXs, not that she belongs in that category, she simply had the meme that went viral this year from her album. So let's go through this, and I just want to talk a little bit about it because I was wrong. I legitimately was wrong, and I think a lot of people were wrong. Maybe it was just doomerism, but a lot of people believed that that's what was going to happen, that we were going to see this election go to Kamala, and it was going to be because of the cultural zeitgeist around all of these celebrities. So it says, a new poll shows that the vast majority of Americans are rejecting celebrity endorsements in political candidates, a blow to Democrats who have come increasingly to rely on influencers to sway young voters and amplify left-wing talking points on social media. The social media part of that is interesting because I think that there's a dichotomy there. I think there's a divide there between how Hollywood and left-wing political campaigns view traditional media versus the internet. Certainly we saw that, I think the biggest thing, and maybe I was going to get into this a bit later, but there was a traditional celebrity route, the Beyoncés faking concerts at events, the Taylor Swift endorsement, all of those people versus the internet celebrities that really seem to do a better job of swaying the public. So I think one of the big reasons that Trump did better, one of the reasons that he did as well as he did, was because he proved that he was willing to go on shows and talk long form for extended periods of time. And that is not a hallmark of traditional media. Traditional media is something that is usually very tightly controlled. You know what questions you're going to get beforehand, and ostensibly you know the outcome before it's done. The fix is in. Look at what they did with the Kamala 60 Minutes interview, where it was an absolute disaster and then is edited after the fact for the sake of making her look good. They worked every step of the way to try and use traditional media to bolster her campaign and make her look like a stronger candidate than she was. But then you have both Donald Trump and Donald Trump and J.D. Vance willing to go on any podcast and talk long form for extended periods of time. And I think that was a huge part of this cultural change. So if Donald Trump and J.D. Vance go on Joe Rogan and speak for 3 hours, you're going to know their positions on things. And Rogan is giving you that entire interview. You're not looking at endless cuts. You're not looking at a sanitized project. You're at a sanitized product. You're looking at two people having a discussion about various issues. Now, people got into whether the things they talked about were effective and the things that they did, the things they talked about, was it beneficial to the campaign? That's up for endless debate. But it's the fact that they're willing to do it at all, to go in there without a life jacket and just take the interview as it comes, that can speak to a lot of people. And certainly a lot of men who the Democrats have ignored are going to be willing to watch a podcast like Joe Rogan or Theo Vaughn. I think that was the one for me, seeing Trump and JD Vance talk with Theo Vaughn, who's absolutely hilarious and is just so the opposite of the political class in his presentation. That speaks to a lot of men who did come out to vote for this, because traditionally, the Democrats have ignored men. They ran those absolutely abysmal ad campaigns that just fell flat and were the picture of fake. And what we're looking at here is a divide between authenticity and reality. So it says, for the recent presidential election, a full 75% of survey respondents said a celebrity's endorsement of a candidate made no difference or not much difference on how they voted, according to a new Rasmussen poll on Monday. Surprisingly, respondents who identify as liberal were more likely than others to disregard the opinions of celebrities, with a full 80% saying Hollywood endorsements didn't sway their decision this election season. Look, conservatives are guilty of this too. They absolutely are. I don't much care what Hulk Hogan thinks about politics either. Look, I'll listen to what Glenn Jacobs has to say about politics. Kane is the mayor of Knoxville, Tennessee. I'll take that. But the average celebrity, whether, they're connected to my political beliefs or not, I still think of myself as an old school traditional liberal. It can speak, what they say outside of politics can speak to whether we probably have similar views on certain things. But in general, you should be doing this research on your own anyways, and not letting the opinions of any celebrity, no matter whether they agree with you on other issues or not, sway your vote. It says the results come on the heels of the Harris's loss to President-elect Donald Trump. So these are the billionaires and the millionaires who came out for Kamala Harris. And look, again, you should disregard the takes of all celebrities when it comes to politics, but it is especially fun to laugh at the absolute disconnection from reality that so many of these pose. So we look here, we have Oprah with a net worth of $3 billion, Taylor Swift with an estimated net worth of $1.6 billion, Tyler Perry, $1.4 billion, Bruce Springsteen, $1.2 billion. Remember, Bruce Springsteen's supposed to speak to the working class. I think a lot of people, a lot of the boomers might be guilty of still believing that he does speak to the working class. Perhaps not the people watching this video, but if you are a boomer, you might still be guilty of thinking that Bob Dylan represents your values. So Beyonce, 800 million, George Clooney, 500 million. He's perhaps the most interesting, given the fact that what George Clooney did was help organize that soft coup in a way of Joe Biden with that op-ed that he wrote that basically said that after the debate Joe Biden should be out. And I don't even know if that's necessarily true. I saw people running searches on Google just before the election asking if Joe Biden was even still running. And, people have short attention spans. One bad debate performance, I don't even know if the average American who's working their full-time job, they got kids, they might not even remember that, for all we know. I mean, there was greater economic factors and things that I believe played into this election, but I am guilty personally of certainly feeling like I let all of the left-wing political activism and my constant time online affect how I thought this was going to go. I think a lot of that just has to do with my job. I spend all my time during the workday preparing for the show. Obviously, the show's here live 5 days a week, so we're spending a lot of time. I'm reading what celebrities are saying, who they're talking about, who they're endorsing, what the issues of the time are, and you look at those responses, and a lot of people will say that it's botted, and that a lot of those things are, astroturfed by big tech and the ad agencies and the people that work for these companies, and that might be true. Certainly, it's a lot harder to gauge the sentiment of the average everyday American online when you don't know what's real and what isn't. president. But I think what is true more than anything is that the average everyday American does not recognize Taylor Swift as a political authority. They do not see Beyonce or Jay-Z or George Clooney as someone to tell them who to vote for. The American people chose a very different candidate this year, obviously, with the idea being that Donald Trump won not only the Electoral College, but the popular vote. It's encouraging to see, as somebody who spends so much time online. It offers me a lot of perspective on things because I was just having a hard time separating it all because of what my job does. But I would like to know below, guys, you know, it's about to be Thanksgiving. I'm putting this video out. It'll probably come out after Thanksgiving. If you spent time with your friends, in your family, in your loved ones, what was the sentiment from them? Ask them, perhaps, if you ask them, perhaps, did a celebrity's endorsement of a political campaign sway their vote? Hopefully you're all having reasonable and honest discussions and nobody is throwing the cranberry sauce at one another if you are, in fact, the right-wing uncle who comes in to disrupt every holiday. I applaud you, but hopefully everyone is being kind to one another. But let me know down below, did you talk to family members? Did you know that this was going to come before it did? Was the sentiment the same with you? I would be interested to know. Let me know down below. Talk to you soon. Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.